Going in now.
And reality. Africans must tell their own stories. The Book Review on Smooth 98.1. Enjoy the show.
Thank you. All right, so we're streaming live. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Second, I'm just trying to gallery. All right. Of course, it is Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. Good morning to you and welcome to the Smooth Book Review. My name is Judith Atibi. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. It's the blue skies and it's sunny out there and it makes you want to sing. It was a World Book Day yesterday, by the way. So a happy World Book Day to all my readers out there. What you guys been up to? What books have you been buying out there? As always, on the Smooth Book Review Show, what we do is all about literature and books and authors and stories. And we try to tie the two together, giving you a platform for storytelling and literature. My name is Judith Atibi, so good morning to you and welcome to the show. Now, today, it's going to be a very special episode. I always say this every single time I come on the show. Because, yes, it is special. It's a very special show. And every single person I bring on here is special. I know. Jealous. So today is another very special edition of the Book Review Show. We have with me a very special guest. And also besides that, we are doing something that I've never done before in the Book Review Show. Funny, since I took the baton, I have never ever done a children's book show before. Never done it before. So this is my first time to be doing a children's book literature show. And I'm super excited to do this because I don't know. I'm just, I'm not a mother, but I intend to be a mother and a parent. And it's a wonderful way to also, talk about books and children and the idea behind children's book. I mean, growing up as a child, there are not so many books. There were had like girls that looked like me. So this was sort of an interesting conversation that I was looking forward to. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my guest. She joins me live via Zoom. So we're streaming live on YouTube. You can go onto YouTube to see our pretty faces. It's www.youtube.com/smooth981fm. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome my very special guest all the way from London is Folasayo Williams. That's her name. Folasayo Williams. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited to hear that it's actually your first time doing a children's book review. Perfect.
First time ever. I've never done children's book before. Never done it.
Love it.
I don't know what to do with children's book. I'm not a mother. What do I do? But this is my first time. So if you just tuned in, Folasayo Williams has worked in the UK financial industry for over 12 years and has always had the same experience of being the odd one out, by virtue of skin color, background, and gender, regardless of the institution, team, or project she found herself, working in. This experience, coupled with her inability to find good quality toys, as well as books that were representative of her cultural, ethnic background and hue, as she began raising a young family, drove her to invest savings into creating, a business, as well as, writing this book that we're going to get into. The name of the book is called Ara Becomes Thundergirl. And it's because of the writer's experiences as a Nigerian raising two kids in the diaspora that have provided her with an immense passion for African cultural representation in media. She creates resources designed to help children and grown-ups of any ethnicity appreciate African cultures, skin tones, and heritage. Folasayo lives in Kent with her husband and two sons. And you're welcome aboard.
Thank you. That was really nice. I'm blushing.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, I should say congratulations, because if there's anything that is beautiful is when people innovate out of a necessity and need to fill a void. And this is quite an achievement that needs to be celebrated. So there's no other way I'm going to introduce it than introduce it this way. So well done to all of you. Good work. Now, the book itself, I'm going to read a very short synopsis about the book, and you're going to tell us, the fascinating thing about this book, which I really liked, was the name, Ara Becomes Thundergirl. I don't see many, characters of girls becoming, female characters or young girls becoming superheroes, if that makes any sense. I don't see that many. But anyway, the synopsis of the book is Ara is a precocious little girl with lots of hobbies and too little time. She never thinks to help mom and dad around the house. And one day she realizes something which leads her to a very special discovery. She has awesome superpowers, and Ara decides to find ways to use her new abilities for good by paying more attention and helping the people around her. In doing so, she discovers that being mindful of other people makes her kinder and helps her spread joy. And when she needs to do something really cool, she just does something, she wiggles and she snaps and she giggles, and she becomes Thundergirl. But tell us a bit about Ara and the inspiration. I mean, of course, we've read it from your bio, but do us that honor and tell us a bit about Ara.
Definitely, I'd love to. So, as mentioned, it features a Black female superhero character, and everything about that, the story, her name, the fact that it's a female protagonist. There's all, they all mean something. It wasn't just like plucked out of thin air. There's a message behind every single element of the book. So as mentioned, I've got two sons. One of the things I really wanted them to see was a female character in, as the protagonist, as the star of the show, as a superhero, because that we see all the guys, we see all the Superman, all the Batman, all the, Iron Man, Spider-Man. There's a lot of that already out there. And it's very important, I think, for boys and girls, obviously, but for kids, regardless of their gender, to see females as leading authorities in, whatever it is they may be doing. So you really touched on that. You hit the nail on the head there, with the female being the actual, the protagonist of the story. I also wanted them to have fun ways of learning how to be kind and empathetic and looking at other people outside of themselves and, coming out of whatever it is they may be going through to help people and be considerate. So that's what Ara does in the story for the most part of the story. And I also wanted, as I said, I wanted to, fuse our heritage and our culture with a good quality, print that can hold itself in any store, any library, any bookshelf. On the cover of the book, her costume actually has like that Ankara print.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
Yes. So I wanted to include like our culture, and her name, Araoluwa, is a Yoruba name. I'm not trying to, cover and give like acceptable names that are, English names. Araoluwa is a full-blown Yoruba name. And that's everybody that's bought this book, regardless of where they're from, whether they're English, American, British, wherever they may be from. They open that book, they see, the African print, they see her name, and it's just, and all the names all the characters have got Yoruba names as well. So, it's just, that's bringing our culture into kind of, the mainstream. So that's what I really wanted to do with the book. It's that representation. It's that, that gender diversity. It's that cultural element as well. So yeah, those are kind of like the inspirations that came, that led me to writing the book, basically.
And really great elements as well. We're going to take a very quick break here, and when we come back on the other side, that's another side I would like to discuss about the fact that Ara decides to take matters into her own hand and be a helper in her world and in her family. And even towards the end of the book, she becomes a helper even around her, when her mother tells her of a particular character, that she goes on to turn to Thundergirl and kind of provide and be of help. So I'm going to talk a bit about, help and being kinder and spreading joy as well when it comes to children, just being socially conscious. Stay with us. This is the Smooth Book Review Show. My name is Judith Atibi. My guest joining me live from London is Folasayo Williams. She's the author of the children's book, Ara Becomes Thundergirl. Stay with us.
On Smooth 98.1.
All right, so let's just a short break and then we'll be back.
Book review.
It's easy, right?
Yeah. I'm usually very shy, but
it's easy. I knew you were. It's easy. I mean, before you know, we're done.
Yeah.
Before you know, we're
and
done.
You're easy to talk to as well, so that helps.
Oh yeah, I get that. I get that a lot. Thank you. All right, so very soon we'll be back on.
Awesome.
And also we'll talk about your toy store, and the other parts of the book that have the forgotten the name. I know I wrote it down.
There's the workbook. Is it this one?
Yeah. There's a workbook,
Yeah.
application book.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about that as well.
Awesome.
I just need to check to see.
We'll bring you one of the kind artists of the month.
So is it music playing at the moment?
No. We're playing back, announcing an ad.
Oh, all right, ads. Okay.
We're coming back in. It's just ad breaks, and we'll be back.
Okay. I've not done a radio show before, so this is the first as well.
Oh, okay. We're going back in now.
Cool.
Smooth 98.1.
All right, studio. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. You're welcome back. 13 minutes gone past 10 a.m. on a beautiful Saturday morning here in Lagos, Nigeria. It's the commercial hub of West Africa. My name is Judith Atibi, and this is a Smooth Book Review Show, the second half of the Smooth Book Review Show. My guest today is joining me live via Zoom. She's all the way in London, and we're streaming live on YouTube, by the way. So go onto YouTube and check us out. We're on www.youtube.com/smooth981fm. You can also send us a WhatsApp message if you have any questions for our guest today. On our WhatsApp platform is 0809-444-0981. Again, 0809-444-0981. My guest is a children's book author, and we're talking about her debut children's book. It's called Ara Becomes Thundergirl. Now, Ara is quite a peculiar, little special girl with lots of hobbies and too little time because she's playing a lot and her toys are lying around in the house. And one day she realizes that she come upon a very special discovery that she has. And it only came about when she decided to help. And this brings me to my next question for Folasayo. Besides your need to, show representation, promote diversity, and, kind of diversity as well in girl characters and having more women, in such characters, you also wanted, with this character, you kind of like wanted to teach children about being kind and kind of being a help around the house. Because the story, when I read the book and towards the end, was kind of sweet. It's like, oh, this is so sweet. But tell me a bit about that, because also when going through your bio, you also talked a bit about, your personal help, your personal life, and how you've always, wanted to do more charity and be part of charitable works and all of that. But tell us a bit about that part of the book.
Yeah, so it's this thing about, in the hustle and bustle of life, you're either like rushing to get to work. When you're done with work, you're probably rushing to pick up the kids. You're going to do grocery shopping. You're going to go to the market. You're going to do this. You run a business. In the hustle and bustle of life, it's so easy to kind of be so focused on everything you're trying to do that you sometimes lose sight of what's happening around you, and maybe people that may be less fortunate than yourself, and ways that you can actually give back to society. And here in London, where I live, when you're running to the train station or by stores, in various areas, you could see people who have, through misfortune in life, they're homeless. And I always feel like a certain pang, I think is the word. And I always feel bad when I'm kind of like, oh, I'm rushing to get a train, I can't stop to do anything. So I think that's my personal story there. So I wanted to be able to bring this down to a level for kids from a young age to be aware of, societal issues, to be aware of just people around them that may be less fortunate, or even just within the house, just, looking after your personal space, just even within your home, helping mom and dad, things like that. So I wanted to bring that down to that level for children to be aware of this from a really young age. So I think that's really one of the driving forces, as you mentioned, behind the book. And as you read the story, you get to the end and you see something that Ara does, which, as you said, is quite sweet. But it's just bringing it to home how easy it is to actually make the world for somebody else, just by a very small action that you do. You could actually change, the trajectory of the way somebody's day is going. So that's kind of like what I wanted to show in the book, and just make children, make that from a young age, make them aware of that whole dynamic, basically.
Yeah. Let's talk a bit about the other, with Ara Thundergirl. There's so many other books that have kind of spring up from then. We have the workshop. The
workbook, yeah.
That when you're an adult is how it's how your vocab change. You kind of change. I mean, the workbook as well as the affirmative, the to self.
The whole art.
So there's other. Tell me a bit about those other things kind of offshoot from this book.
Yes. So for me, I'll start with the wall art. So as you mentioned, there's Thundergirl features as a character that that's on wall art that goes on like your kids' rooms or like study rooms or playrooms, and these posters they feature statements, positive affirmation statements that when your child wakes up in the morning, the posters on the wall, it's a reminder of who they are, like the superhero within. It says things like, I am kind, I am gorgeous, I'm courageous, all those words that remind them. Because I think I remember growing up, I wasn't that conscious about speaking positively to myself. It was a lot easier to do it to other people. And, there are times when you actually just need to build yourself up. And along the way, it's really easy to lose your confidence. Maybe you move countries or you start a new school or a new job, whatever the case may be, and you may lose your voice in that process. You're not able to kind of speak up or speak out, or, it just, it exhibits itself in various scenarios in life. And I wanted children, again, from a very young age, to be able to know that, look, I am a special human being. I am courageous, I'm gorgeous, I'm special, I'm loved. And those statements on the posters are very simple, and it can be used as a daily reminder, basically. And hopefully children can then grow up to be confident in themselves and who they are. And then with the workbook, what I wanted to do there was encourage a sense of, again, self-awareness, as it says, the self-awareness workbook. So it just has, again, very simple questions like, who am I? What do I like? What do I dislike? And it makes them actually think and write down these answers. And again, it's a way of introspection. You get to discover things about yourself. And, for a child that is like 4, 5, 6, it's very important for them to be able to kind of build up that self-knowledge so that, it's not that easy to bully them or kind of treat them anyhow. Parts of the workbook also talk about ways in which they can help. Again, simple tasks, there's a checklist where they can say, okay, I've done this, just simple things happening around the house. There's also a section that talks about emotions. So just there's pictures, and then it's matching the picture to the emotion shown there. So it really helps you to kind of just, introspection is the word. And then there's also even at the back of the the workbook then has like motivating biblical scriptures written again in children's language, that when they read it, again, they can, King James Version or Bible English is not necessarily one that maybe even grown-ups can easily understand. So I'm Christian, and I also wanted to bring that into the work that I'm doing. And so it's written, Bible verses are written in very, very plain, simple English that a child can understand, but they're all self-affirmating and build, scriptures that build up. So they can write down again what this scripture means to them, how it makes them feel, and things like that. So yeah, it's quite a good thing that you can just give a child, and they can actually spend time.
And even as gifts, or even as a birthday, present. I love this. I think it's really thoughtful, because as a child growing up, I mean, till now, I don't know how to answer the question, who are you? Or what do you like? I tell people I like everything, or I say, I like what I like, or I don't have a favorite. And it's quite shocking, going now into my 30s, and I realized that I actually do have favorite things that I like, for the longest time, because I wasn't so much as self-aware of like who I was. I mean, for the longest, I just, just like, I just like, I don't know, because I eat rice a lot, I like rice. But the truth is, I'm not really that much.
Do you really like rice?
Do I really like rice, or it's because we just eat it a lot, so those are kind of questions that until now, when you ask me who I am, it's still very difficult answer to, difficult for me to answer. And that's because, and I think that's really applaudable, to get children on to become self-aware, especially when it comes to their emotions as well, because kids can throw tantrums and they get very, to be able to be self-aware of what you're feeling at the time or at that moment. So, okay, you're frustrated. Are you angry? Is this joy? Is this impatience? I mean, what is it? And can you walk through that emotion and come out on the other side? Because oftentimes, even as Nigerian parents, we're sort of impatient, and all thanks to baby boomers, our parents are baby boomers who are also very impatient, and it's kind of an interesting observation, and well done. But before we go on a break, because I have 2 minutes here before I'll go on a break, we're going to talk a bit about your toy shop. I'm really interested to know about a toy shop because it's called Shenny and Tenny, right?
Yeah. That's right.
Tell us a bit about your toy shop, because we're at 2 minutes before we're going to break, and then we'll come back in depth into it.
Awesome. So again, it's similar to with the book. So as mentioned, we live in the UK. So we're a bit far removed from our Nigerian culture, just by the fact that we're in a different country. And one of the things that I really wanted to do was keep my kids connected somehow, to their heritage, their background, where they're from. And again, similarly, I was, as my older son was kind of growing, I was searching online. I couldn't find so many toys that weren't like Peppa Pig or Paw Patrol. There were all these branded things, and I really just couldn't find something that spoke to my background and my heritage. And that was kind of like the foundation of starting up the toy shop, basically, just as an intro.
It's really interesting. When we come back, we'll talk about diversity when it comes to culture, and how in the diaspora there's intentionality to preserve culture and to connect young children to culture, while on this side of the shore it's a completely different story. Stay with us. This is the Smooth Book Review Show. My name is Judith Atibi. My guest is children's author Folasayo Williams. I'm going to work
on Smooth 98.1.
All right, so we're up on a break, and then we'll be back. It's easy.
Awesome. I know. So is this the last? Is this the final session?
No, we have one more before we go. Then when we come back, we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about your CSR as well, and where people can get your book. I know you have a social responsibility when it comes to the book. We'll talk about that. And then tie things up.
Awesome.
What does future-forward banking mean to you? Speed, innovation, convenience, lifestyle goals, or just simply getting service that is designed just for you? Yeah, we thought you might like all of that and more. That is why we specially created Providus Bank for you to take care of your daily experiences. At Providus Bank, we believe that banking should be all about you and your business and how to get you to the next level. If you do not already have a Providus Bank account, please speak with our business concierge on 0700 77 684 387 or email businessconcierge@providusbank.com to switch to a future-forward banking experience. Providus Bank. Future forward banking.
This is IBK, aka Spaceship Boy, and you're tuned into Nigeria's #1 radio station. Smooth. You name it, we got it on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. Most definitely.
Things changed when I discovered African books. The Smooth Book Review on Smooth 98.1.
All right, you ready? Let's do it. Studio. Smooth 98.1 and Love Music, Love Life. It's a Saturday morning here. We're on the third leg of our Smooth Book Review show. My name is Judith Atibi, 26 minutes gone past 10 a.m. And it's quite the show today. We're talking everything about when it comes to children's book. And I have a special guest with me joining me live via Zoom all the way from London. It's Folasayo Williams. She's the author of Ara Becomes Thundergirl. And Ara is quite the young girl. We're talking everything about her book. And also we're going to go in depth into her toy store that she has. And it's called Sheni and Tenny and was founded to help raise well-rounded, confident, and empathetic children through cultural education and representation, and to similarly celebrate, the celebration of African cultures. She is very passionate about creating an avenue for children to learn all about African cultures while playing. Now, before the break, Folasayo, you talked a bit about, how, in searching for toys for your kids, especially back in the UK, you were seeing more Peppa Pig, more Paw Patrol, and you wanted things that would kind of make them to familiarize them with the culture back here in Nigeria. And it kind of got me thinking about our culture here. I don't know. I mean, not everyone is going to look for toys that are, more diverse, that looks like us, if that makes any sense.
It does.
I know my friends who said, because I don't have any kids, my friends, they say that it's Paw Patrol, or sometimes they tell me things I honestly don't know what are you talking about? You need to, I mean, I know. And then the mother will be like, oh, it's something that they're watching. I was like, okay, I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, when I was your age, we were playing outside. There were so many where, we're very, very creative with what we're doing when it comes to playtime. We're skipping rope. We had all these songs we were singing. Yeah. I mean, like, if you tell me any nursery rhyme and you're telling me about how someone crawled out of a chimney, I'm like, what is wrong with you? You know what a chimney looks like? And it's like, it's in the poem. And to Judith, just listen to me. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. Okay. But I mean, when it comes to accepting or pretty much navigating intentionality with your children playing, what would you say about our culture back here at home?
To be fair, I think when you're actually already living in and immersed in that environment, there's probably things that you I don't know if take for granted is the word, but there's things that just come natural that you don't really have to think about. So that's something which somebody who was living outside of that will notice its absence and be like, So that's one thing. And then obviously everywhere is being westernized as well. There's a lot of bombardment from media, TV, everywhere. So there's actually a lot fighting for your attention. So it does, as you said, intentionality is the word. It does take that specific decision that whatever the case may be, I'm going to seek out this because I believe it is important. So I just find that's obviously that's now an individual thing. So it depends on you to actually make that happen. I also find actually that even that being said, there's still, there are things that people are doing to kind of fill that gap. So there's like, and there's So Kids TV on YouTube, which I quite enjoy. There's Bino and Fino, which we all know of as well. So people are really coming into and stepping into that space to fill that gap, because we noticed that there's a gap there. And it's all well and good to, as you say, have the Paw Patrols, the Peppa Pigs, PJ Masks, all that is no problem there. But I would like to see more of, our own stories and our own creations. As you say, we're all so creative. Everybody has an idea that all you need to do is to actually act on, and then you never know how that's going to like blow up or how that's going to go. So it's just kind of like seeing more of that happening. That would be amazing if you could see more stories that just represent us and our culture and our heritage, everything. That's kind of what I would be hoping to see more of as well.
Yeah. As children, of course you grew up here in Nigeria, didn't you?
Yeah.
And as children, we had those little books that we had, which, besides, of course, the other, Western books that we read, Mallory Towers, or so many of them.
Oh my God, yes. I love Mallory Towers, St. Clair's, the Babysitters Club, the Famous Five, Secret Seven.
Oh my God. They were, because my dad wouldn't buy me those books, right? And so what I would do is, there was also girls who had them. So after every holiday, we'll go and I'll trade with them, right? Yeah, but the books my dad would remember to buy for me, or as it goes to school.
Love it.
And it's like, because I read those books.
Yeah.
And so you have to read them too.
Yes.
I know he's listening. It's like, as it goes to school, there's Serial Quincy and there's other, Riley and the Sugar Girl, and there are these other books as well.
All those,
And in introducing your kids, to this culture as well, in terms of books, what have you been doing to introduce them as well? Books what writers are you introducing them to in terms of, more children's book that have
books
that's more authentic to the Nigerian culture?
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of, when I go shopping, I do look out specifically for titles that show, I guess you could say, like Black history in a way. So prominent figures that are Black, that have existed, in the past and still now, because I think one of the things that I'm also very conscious of is showing them that this person did it before, so you look like them. They kind of internalize that message that, oh, I saw this somewhere and this person looked like me, that means I can do it. So I look for titles that like show them, that aspect. In terms of the Nigerian culture and stuff, because I did find that a bit lacking, which is why I wrote the book. So they know that mommy wrote this book, when they see it, they're like, oh, that's our book. So they recognize that. So it's also instilling in them and showing them things that close to home or afar, you can actually go out and make a change. So that's kind of what I do. And then there's like a subscription boxes that here in the UK, I don't know about Nigeria, but there's subscription boxes that I sign up to, and every book within the box, you could get like 3 to 4 books, every book within the box, and activities that feature people that look like us, they're all included. Posters, activities, whether it's the one I signed up to, there's different themes. So one might be space travel, one might be science, there's different themes, and everything ties together. So it just expands their horizon. So I'm very intentional about exposing them to this thing so that they know that, look, this person is Black, but then this is what they've gone on to achieve, because otherwise they won't get to really see much of that. That's kind of like, in terms of books and exposure, that's kind of like what I try to do with the kids, really.
With your toy store, it's www.shaniantenny.com. Tell us about the elements, the kind of toys one would find there.
Yes.
Tell me a bit about the store and what you find inside.
I'd love to. So our first offering was puzzles, and just to kind of, just repeating what I've said in the past about looking for toys and not finding any. I thought, actually, why not create what it is that I want to see? So I wanted to see Nigerian culture on print in a toy that they could pick up, and I could play with them. And as we're playing, we're talking about, oh, what are they wearing? Agbada, shokoto, all that. There's short stories included in the puzzles as well. That gives like an enriching, experience about learning these different cultures. And it's not just Nigeria. So I thought, we may not have traveled across Africa in the way I would have loved to, but I can kind of bring some of that back to us. So there's a box for Ghana, there's one for South Africa, and within each of the country puzzles, there's elements of their culture represented in the images, and short stories that reference like the local language as well. So they just get a glimpse of, oh, this is the Ghanaian festival that happens at this time of year. This is what they do here. This is what they eat. This is what they wear. That sort of things. Similarly for South Africa. So you would see, that's what you would get when you go to the toy store. You would see puzzles. There's also like free printables. Again, everything about Africa, so like crossword puzzles and word searches, and they're free. You just need to sign up and you download it for free. And again, it's one thing that kids can just, you want to keep them busy, not necessarily watching TV all the time. Just sit down and
screen time, man.
Puzzle,
If we start, we'll not finish,
and they learn. Exactly. So yeah, I think for me, kids learn the most while they're playing. So I wanted it to be like a playful and engaging kind of business where they could actually learn while playing. So yeah, that's what you find when you go there.
Very, very lovely work that you're doing here, Folasayo. I have to give it to you. It's quite, it's clear that as a parent, one must be intentional with everything. It's called Sheni and Tenny. Go onto the website. It's www.sheniandtenny.com, and you would find all this and more on there. Now, before I let you go, because we're going to go on a short break, and then when we come back, we're going to, tie things up here. But before you do go, we're going to tell me, before we do that, tell us a bit about, I know Ara the Thundergirl also has a social responsibility side of it, so tell us a bit about what you're doing with that.
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier about the pangs I used to feel for people who are homeless. I mean, I do this with my kids, in front of my kids. So I buy them lunch, and because I want them to see action, not just kind of like, words. So, more than once when my older son's been with me, we've been out in town and I've noticed someone, I've gone into the shop, bought lunch, and then he actually noticed and he was like, oh, mommy, that was so nice what you did. And I thought, wow, okay, he actually noticed. I didn't say anything to him. I just did it. And I noticed that he actually picked up on that. So I think kids are also very perceptive. But yeah, that's as an aside. But every book sold, 10% goes to Centrepoint UK, which is a charity that supports the youth that are either homeless or at risk of homelessness. And it supports them, gives them training, gives them a roof over their heads, and just put them in a place where, they're not out on the streets, basically. So for every purchase, 10% does go to Centrepoint UK. So that's on the responsibility I feel that we do have to society to give back. And I wanted to make that a tangible effort as well. So yeah.
Really, really wonderful stuff here. We're going to go on a very short break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to wrap things here on the show, which is going to tell us how you can get the book here in Nigeria, because we as kids, we Nigerians, we like good things, so we're going to find us where we can also find the book, and also a bit about, Sheni and Tenny as well, the website and every other goodies on there. And also maybe your favorite authors that you like when it comes to children's book.
Yeah.
So stay with us. This is a Smooth Book Review Show. Don't go anywhere. When we come back on the other side, more. Don't go anywhere.
Smooth 98.1.
Yeah, so when we come back, it's going to be the last part, and then we're done. So just 3 minutes, and then...
Awesome. It's been lovely. I hope you've been enjoying it as well.
Yeah. I always have a good time on the show, so I try to have a good time. And I try.
Do you think you'll be doing more? Do you think you'll be doing more children's authors?
Yeah, I think I should, because they always reach out. Although one of the publishers here reached out to me, and she asked me to, I think for Afina Books, they sent me an author. She's all the way in South Africa, and it's all about hair. And this little girl, and how her hair was so you know, and how she wanted. I thought it was interesting, and I was gonna, you know, do that, but then I got carried away because it was award season in the literature.
Oh.
So there are lots of authors and short stories and so many things going on. And I mean, if you look at the replays on our YouTube channel, I do mostly on, you know, literature and books and authors and, you know, very heavy stuff when it comes to literature, more Wole Soyinka. I really don't do much on. So hopefully, I mean, with this, I mean, it's interesting, you know. But again, one thing about, I mean, yours is a lot better. We can, you know, talk about it for an hour because there's so many elements.
There's a lot of
yeah, as opposed to a children's book. I mean, how many things I want to ask you? So I'm gonna be an hour long. So I think for that, I can do like maybe 30 minutes with an author, 30 minutes with another author, you know. But obviously, sometimes it's an hour. We'll review a book. We'll go in depth. You know, talk about, you know, the stylistics, you know, style of writing, the theme, you know, what you this character. But with a children's book, there's not so much you can talk about.
You can't go that deep. Yeah. I get it.
Yes. All right, we're going back in. All right, we're going in. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. You're welcome back to Smooth Book Review Show. It's 42 minutes gone past 10 a.m. and that means that we're in the last leg, the final segment of our show today on the Smooth Book Review Show. My name is Judith Atibi. It's been quite the show today with my special guest joining me live on Zoom. We're streaming live on YouTube, by the way, so if you haven't joined us, go in there and join us on YouTube. It's www.youtube.com/smooth981FM. You can catch our very pretty faces this very beautiful morning. As my guest is Folasayo Williams. She's a children's book author, and we're talking all about her children's book, a debut children's book. It's the very first. It's called Ara Becomes Thundergirl, and it's all about Ara Lua, who's a very little girl, who's a very jolly girl with lots of hobbies and too little time, and who never thinks to help mommy and daddy like the rest of us around the world. And then one day she realizes something which leads her to a special discovery. She has superpowers, and not just superpowers, awesome superpowers, because she gets to help her family with its new abilities. She gets to help around the house, and also she gets to, you know, discover being more mindful about other people. And it makes her kinder, and it helps her spread joy. And not only have we been talking about the book, we've also been talking about my author today, her toy shop. Okay, it's called Sheni and Tenny. I'm terrible at Yoruba names, so hopefully I'm getting the Sheni correctly.
You're good.
And so it's Sheni and Tenny, and it's all about, you know, promoting diversity, and as well as, you know, helping open up conversations with children when it comes to representation and, you know, culture, helping them to familiarize themselves with, you know, ethnicity, our heritage, and of course our culture as well, kind of expanding out their horizons. But hey, Fola, as we'll come to the end of the show, can I call you Fola, by the way?
Yeah, you call me anything. Fola, you know.
As we come to the end of the show today, how can we find this book?
Okay, so you've mentioned one of the ways, the website. For those who are abroad, they can just place an order online. We are stocked in Roving Heights. In Lagos, and you can also just even drop us a DM if you're in Lagos and its environs, Abuja, anywhere in Nigeria, basically. You know, you can drop us a DM on Instagram as well, so we can fulfill orders directly, or we can also fulfill from Roving Heights. The puzzles are also in Latana, and we're looking to obviously expand our retail options in Nigeria, so hopefully you have even more outlets soon. But yeah, those I would say those are the main ways of getting in contact with our products and ordering.
Nice. Also talks a bit about, you know, how when and then for Sheni and Tenny, besides that, for Ara Becomes Thundergirl. Are there more books under your belt? Are there more books?
Yeah,
Are you working
I get
on
this
other
question
things?
a lot. Yeah. So people ask me, are you going to do a boy version or are you going to have more books? I get this question a lot. And you never know. Ara could go on so many different adventures. So the book is really wide open there. You never know. There could be, I haven't really decided, to be honest. So I could make it into a series. There's lots of scope for future stories to come out of here. So just, keep an eye out for that one. And we'll see where her story goes.
Yeah. And also more lastly, do we, besides Latana, is there more that's going to come to our shores, when it comes to your toys as well?
Grace, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I have so many product ideas, and all of them will center around representation and bringing our culture to life in good quality toys. So there will be more coming definitely down to your shores. And as mentioned, we're definitely looking to expand on our retail outlets and even get into schools. There's a lot of scope there for expansion. So and even outside of Nigeria, other parts of Africa, we really do want to grow and get our message out there. So yeah.
I have this message here from Randolph. It's like, how can I get Fola's book in Lagos, and what's the title too? It's called Ara Becomes Thundergirl. You can find it at Roving Heights, and also you can DM them. By the way, share with us your social handles as well, so anyone who's listening, so go on there. You can go on there and DM you guys.
Yeah, check us out. It's at Sheni and Tenny. So it's SHENI and TENI, Sheni and Tenny.
Sheni and Tenny. It's Sheni and Tenny on Instagram. So go on there and check them out and drop a message, and also support this small, wonderful business as we help our children to be more conscious of and be more aware of our diversity, our culture, and also themselves. Very importantly, themselves, because you don't want children going to adults who have no clue who they are and just walking around the world clueless.
Yeah. That's it. Because if you don't even understand yourself, then you're not also going to be able to understand others. And I think part of the emotion and stuff is, being able to be sensitive enough as well to understand even other people as well. And there's just a lot to be left. There's a lot left wanting, I think, in that space, being your brother's keeper, so to speak. So there's the element of the self-awareness, which I really want to encourage kids to have. And then there's also that kind of your neighbor, your brother's keeper, and just being, socially conscious, as you said earlier on.
Socially conscious.
That's it.
As we round things up here, this last message says, sounds like a great material for our kids. Well done. And that's it. That brings us to the very end.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Folasayo, on this beautiful Saturday morning.
Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
You can go on there and find Sheni and Tenny on Instagram. It's at Sheni and Tenny on Instagram, Facebook, and also on Twitter as well. It's been wonderful here on the show. Join me next week, Saturday. It's going to be another exciting episode. Probably this time it's going to be an author, and it's going to be about prize winning. As we already know, the prize, we're into the prize winning season inside of the literary world. So more authors will be coming on as we talk about their award winning short stories. This has been the Smooth Book Review Show. My name is Judith Atibi. Coming up inside the 11 o'clock hour, it will be time for Total Football. The guys are here in the studio and they're ready to go for you inside of the world of football. As for me, it's goodbye. Find me on social media. I'm at Judith Atibi on Instagram, and of course at Judith_TV on Twitter. It's been fun. Goodbye. Say goodbye. Goodbye to everyone on YouTube as well. All right, that's it.
Awesome.
That's it.
Well done.
Thank you. And well done to you as well. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so, good luck with everything. I hope that with more books, we get to hear more from you and so much more in store. Hopefully when we get out of the pandemic, it's going to be a nice store here in Lagos.
Yes. I'd love to be around and meet people as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed myself.